everybody. We are back here in the second video with Christy Norwood and Monica Guthrie Purchase. And this is going to have a lot of information in it about some of the challenges of actually getting into the nuts and bolts of how things are actually done in practice in a Head Start organization, but how, when you work with all these different things together, you can push through and advance what you're doing and get to the kinds of outcomes that you want. And so this is a story with a lot of information in it, but this is one that's also really important because I think you'll see reflected in what they were doing a lot of the things that happen in your program as well.
So with us starting to kind of dig deep into the data, one of the things that we decided to do was we created a data dashboard, which gave us a clear picture of our program's needs assessments, their fidelity. It looked at their class or their hover scores. And our first initial was also looking at child outcomes. So it would look at the outcomes per classroom. Over time, we decided to take that part out, but it gave us a clear picture as to where everybody was. In addition to that, it also helped the program education coordinators to see who was a viable candidate for intensive coaching based off of that data. It also helped Christy and I to see where perhaps area of needs were in sense of training and sense of TA and things of that nature, because if we saw a lot of teachers kind of falling low in one particular category, perhaps that was an opportunity for us to provide, a training or individual TA on that specific area. Through utilizing that data, like I said, it helped the program coordinators to decide what type of coaching perhaps teachers or home visitors needed. It helped them to develop action plans that they use to use that PD. They also use their professional development plans that kind of work together. I'll say for our programs, sometimes it can be challenging for our program ed coordinators because they are the education coordinator, which means they are the supervisor and they're the coach. So that for us was a major challenge because it took a lot to kind of get the mindset around, okay, when I do this, I'm coaching. When I do this, I'm supervising, and teaching them how to separate the two, but still working towards kind of like, filtering into the common goal. So it's almost like a funnel. So, but you have things coming from different areas and different ways to funnel into one end result. Collecting the data, I'll start there with the data collection. It would start on the program level. The program coordinator would gather this information. So they're gathering their hover scores. They're gathering their individual needs assessments for each teacher, teacher assistant, home visitor. They're gathering fidelity tools. They're gathering outcomes results, and they're putting that all on one long spreadsheet. How many of us love spreadsheets, right? No. One long spreadsheet. Then they would have to take that spreadsheet, send it to me, and then I would have to compile a grantee-wide spreadsheet, which would have all of this data. How many times my eyes crossed, I do not know. I lost track. Trying to look at all of that data for over 2,000, people who serve 2,000 children. So that was a lot. There were many times I wanted to throw my computer out of the window. And not to mention, of course, when you're dealing with technology, it's great until it's not. There would be times when I would put data in and then I look and the data was gone. That was always fun for me. So it was time consuming. We had errors, right? So we then worked with our team to try to pull all of that data from that source and put it into another source where we had a good, clear picture. We had graphs. So we had a quick eye shot of what this looked like. What does hovers look like? What does this specific area look like? What programs are lower, to be able to dwindle down to the home visitor or teacher in a specific area. That was wonderful for us as well as the program because they had one clear shot, just a click versus having to look at a long spreadsheet, right? Now for coaching, when we first started coaching, It was a lot for everyone because, like I said before, it was hard to understand and to separate the two between supervising and coaching. Everything was tracked on paper, of course. So with our team, we developed a data collection tool, which allowed the coordinator to put what teacher or home visitor was receiving coaching, who was providing the coaching, what area they were being coached in, the duration of time they were being coached in. At first, they were filling that information out. That wasn't right. They were putting in things that weren't areas, not even optional areas to be coached in. So then we started doing the drop-down tool where, okay, we got it. Drop-down tool, all they have to do is click. It'll be seamless, right? No. They were still somehow managing to add things. Sometimes they would put, have errors like names. So this month I might put in Monica Purchase as a teacher, but next month I put M Purchase. That would mess up the data because it's looking at me as two different people. So that was one issue with coaching. But it also helped us to reveal that what was considered coaching and what the coordinators were understanding coaching was not, because we would have coaching incidents where it was like 15 minutes. We're like, what did you coach in 15 minutes? That's not coaching. So it helped us to see that was an area that we needed to strengthen our coordinators in understanding what coaching is. What's the duration of time that should be considered a coaching event? That helped us a lot. But it's still paper, right? So we're still getting these things a month after the fact. So by the time we get the data, a month has passed. We still have this paper that we're looking at, we're tracking, but not a clear picture of the agency or the grantee as a whole. Enter Child Plus. Thank you. Opportunity one for, I think, for me, I think is an opportunity for the program coordinators to track their information kind of in real time versus waiting for it. And it also gives us as the grantee an opportunity to see that information in real time.